Shalom and greetings from Jerusalem, Jane. I'm standing here in my bedroom in Jerusalem. I chose this location because it's actually a bomb shelter. Also because I hope this video picks up the children, the sound of children playing outside my window in Jerusalem, while at the same time, Israeli fighter jets are flying above the holy city of Jerusalem on their way to bomb targets in the Gaza Strip that belongs to the brutal terror regime Hamas. I'm not a Danish journalist that was sent down here by a Danish newspaper or a TV station coming in to cover what's happening right now, and when that's over, I leave again. I'm a Danish civilian who gave everything I had away in Denmark. I sold stuff, I gave things away, and arrived here with one suitcase 8-9 years ago on a tourist visa, going in and out of Israel until I settled, and has now been here on a journalist visa for 7 years. But I'm still a private citizen. I'm still myself, working on a volunteer basis. What's happening right now in Israel is grabbing world attention. Why? The world is finally waking up to what the Jewish people has been facing year after year after year. It started Saturday morning when the rocket alert went on our phones and rockets start flying in from Gaza. This is a reality that the Jewish people has been living under, all people in Israel has been living under since the brutal terror regime took over in the Gaza Strip. The Israelis living inside Gaza was brutally forced out, evicted out of that piece of land that was fruitful, greenhouses, everything was fruitful and so beautiful. And for Israel to give up land for peace, the Israelis living there was forced out. They even have to dig up their dead. They left the Gaza Strip. Arabs took over, Hamas took over, and they turned that whole Gaza Strip into a terrorist nest. People voted for Hamas. Over the years, they have sent thousands and thousands and thousands of rockets into Israel. People living in the proximity of the Gaza border are deeply traumatized because they have spent days and nights over the years in bomb shelters. Rockets has also been flying into Tel Aviv and to further out from the Gaza Strip over the years. If Israel hadn't had the Iron Dome, thousands of people could have been murdered from all of these rockets. Saturday morning when rockets starts flying in, a full frontal attack on Israel took place. 1,500 terrorists armed to the teeth like a small army breached the borders into Israel. And they drove on motorcycles and cars into more than 20 Israeli kibbutzes and Jewish communities, Israeli communities around the border. They plainly executed everyone they met on the street. First they beat them, and then they executed them right there on the spot. They ran out to the highway. They stopped people in their cars, they dragged them out, they shot them, or they plainly executed them in their cars. Many cars are on the highways. If you go down there and you drive down there, you will see the cars full of bullet holes. About 1,000 young people was at a music festival at a big field just next to the Gaza border, and all of a sudden, terrorists is surrounding them from all sides, and people are fleeing in horror. And these terrorists start shooting them down, executing them. 260 bodies was found on that field. The massacre, the horror, you can't even imagine. The terrorists then went up to the kibbutzes. They entered into the kibbutzes. They murdered everyone they met on the street. And then they went from house to house. They broke down the door. And they started killing all the people they met. Plainly executed them. Not only did they murder them in cold blood, they live streamed it for the whole world to see their atrocities. They raped the women. They killed the children. They beheaded soldiers and other civilians. Never since ISIS have you seen this cruelty. Never since the Second World War has the Jewish people, has the Israelis found themselves in this situation. Raped, mutilated, massacred, beheaded. In some of the houses, people were barricading themselves. What did the terrorists do? They set their houses on fire. People were burned alive in their homes. Some people fled out. When they came out of the house, the terrorist was waiting on them and they plainly executed them. Right now, the death toll is a little bit more than 900. There was one kibbutz where there were about 1,000 people living. The death toll in one kibbutz alone was 108. Every home they came into, people was just lying there massacred on the floor in their bed. This happened on a Shabbat morning, early morning. The atrocities that took place here in Israel is beyond what anyone can comprehend. Dead bodies everywhere, mutilated, women raped, children plainly executed. These vicious animals recorded it, and they have released the most horrific videos coming out. Things so horrifying you can't even find the words. This was a full frontal attack on Israel. They came from the air, they came from the sea, they came on ground, and they had planned a much bigger catastrophe, is the word I'm going to use. They had planned to enter much deeper into Israel, to massacre many more people. So Israel is doing what Israel has to do. They are saying enough is enough. Since Hamas took over the Gaza Strip, they have shot in so many rockets, murdering people, responsible for terror attacks in Judea and Samaria. Every time rockets has been flying into Israel from Gaza, who is cheering on? Every time Jewish people are being murdered in the streets in the most horrendous terror attacks, who is cheering on? The people in Gaza. They are handing out candies, they are handing out sweets, they are celebrating that yes, another Jew, another Israeli were murdered. When 1,500 terrorists came in Saturday morning breaching into Israel, their family knew my brother, my uncle, my husband, my father is going to go in and murder the Jews. And they were celebrating them. And they have been celebrating in the Gaza Strip when 130 people was taken hostage by these barbaric terrorists, dragged into the Gaza Strip, paraded in the streets, stripped down to their underwear, beaten and humiliated. Who is cheering on? The civilians in the Gaza Strip. Who is attacking these Israeli civilians in the streets? The civilians in the Gaza Strip. But now, when Israel is going in to Gaza to attack and to completely annihilate this terror organization, they are hiding between women and children, like they have always done, cowards. So if your country was brutally attacked with 1,500 soldiers who decapitated you, mutilated you, beaten you, abused you, raped you, massacred nearly 1,000 people, what would you do? Israel has every right to go into the Gaza Strip and to take out these terrorists. Enough is enough. We have not seen anything like this since the time of the Nazis. The Jewish people are done being slaughtered. And Israel is going into the Gaza Strip and doing what they're doing. So you stay focused now when mainstream media is going to focus on the casualties in the Gaza Strip and the poor civilians. Yes, there will definitely be poor civilians, but there are a majority of civilians in there who has been celebrating. Every time we have had a terrorist attack in Israel and an Israeli has been murdered, a Jew has been murdered, they are celebrating now when we are seeing all of these people being attacked in Israel. So for such a time as this, we will stand with Israel. I have tried to the best of my ability. One little lady with one phone. I wish I was down near the border and I was boots on the ground and I could report out to all of you. Instead, I'm here in Jerusalem working with what I have in my phone, with what I have in my hand, and it's just a little phone. Let's see if there will be an opportunity for me to go down to that area. So there will be a massive ground invasion for Israel to go in and eradicate these evil terrorists who just massacred 1,000 civilians here in Israel, and many soldiers and many police officers. So for such a time as this, we will stand united with Israel. Everything is on a high alert. Today, as a matter of fact, I was out shopping because we know when there's going to be that ground invasion in Gaza, there's chances that Israel is going to be attacked up north. We have seen that the tension is already very high on the northern border. Israel could be attacked from Hezbollah, who has 100,000 rockets and missiles pointed towards Israel. So everything is very, very tense. Twice yesterday, I had to run in here to my bomb shelter, my bedroom, because we had the code red, and we have been told, you know, to prepare, to have water and food and everything you need to hunt down for 72 hours if and when Israel is going into Gaza, and if and when Israel is going to be attacked on other fronts. So you stay focused. Hamas attacked us in the most heinous way, atrocities we can't even share with you what they did to innocent civilians and also to our soldiers. This is war. They have committed the most atrocious war crimes you can't even imagine. This is crime against humanity that has taken place. So that's what you need to remember and focus now when mainstream media is going to start focusing on civilians in the Gaza Strip. Civilians who has been cheering on when we have had terrorist attack murdering Jews, cheering on when 1,500 terrorists went into Israel and murdered them in cold blood. People are still sitting today not knowing where is my loved one. They are not done yet counting the dead bodies. They are not done yet going in the communities, finding the people who was brutally massacred. And we are talking babies, we are talking toddlers, we are talking children, we are talking grandmothers. And the same, they are sitting young mothers now with their babies held hostage in the Gaza Strip. We can't even imagine the horrors they are going through. So as a civilian myself, working on a volunteer basis for so many years here in Israel, I am just trying to keep you updated as someone who lives here, who has been here for 10 years, reporting upon terror attack, upon terror attack, upon terror attack, dead Jews, murdered children, murdered mom and dad, and rockets flying in from the Gaza Strip, while all of the so-called Palestinians are celebrating, which they are doing today. Let me end this video that is now becoming too long by saying, please organize rallies for Israel. Please go on the streets and organize pro-Israel rallies. Speak out against these atrocities. Share about these atrocities so the world really realize what happened here. Some people are saying this is Israel's 9/11. You cannot imagine what they did to people, how they mutilated people, abused people, raped women, decapitated people. This is worse than ISIS. So for such a time as this, thank you for watching this video. For such a time as this, thank you for standing with Israel, and also keep me in your prayers. Bye.